I'm Christine Santos, ex-corporate woman turned founder of my own boutique podcast production company. And it wasn't that long ago that I lacked the knowledge, the time, and the community to focus on growing my small but fun and exciting business. Through it all, I've had many challenges and failures and lessons learned. Today, I have so much fun helping others change lives and having the time and choices that allows me to spend more time with my family. It wasn't too long ago that this was just a someday dream. I created the Wonder Boldly podcast to give you inspiration with actionable steps to help you go after your someday dream now. If you're ready to take your days, weeks, months, life back into your own hands, or you're just curious what it means to create a business that makes an impact in a life you love, you are in the right place. Let's go. Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Wonder Boldly. Today, I have with me Jessica Jameson, founder of Revolution Health. What stood out for me when I first met Jessica, we met on a networking call, and she is not only a certified personal trainer, but she is also a licensed mental health counselor. And for me, that really stood out. And during that call, there was a question being asked and people were answering the questions and so forth. And there were many health coaches on the call. And she jumped in to say that she felt it was very important that people in the health coaching space become eating disorder aware. And I could tell just by the way she interjected that she was super passionate about it. So I've dug a little deeper, looked into her work, we've chatted, and I think that the two married together is really powerful. So I want to share her today with you. And if she speaks to you in the way that she coaches her clients, I highly recommend you reach out to her. She is exceptional. I've known her for a very short time, mostly online, mostly looking at her things online. And you'll see it weaved in. Her passion for this is weaved in all through her website, which we'll share, her Instagram account. So I am so excited to share her with you today. Thank you so much, Jess, for being on the show. It's so great to have you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction, Christine. Yes, I am very passionate about what I do. And I think the rest of this interview will reveal why that is.
Yes, exactly. So I'd like to start with telling a little bit of a story of how you first found yourself in a space of approaching or in an eating disorder.
Yeah. So it definitely goes way back. I would say I started having issues with food probably from around the 8th grade and all through high school, definitely into college and into even early adulthood. And it changed, right? That how I was struggling definitely changed, but I can pinpoint when I was in 8th grade, I remember this girl, we were in gym class. We were coming out of the locker room for gym class. Everyone had to change for gym class. And she comes out of the locker rooms and she tells the other girl, you're skinny if you can put your thumbs on your hips and reach and touch your belly button. So I know everyone's going to start to do that, right? Like some thumbs on like your hip bones and then your fingers come over your stomach and can touch your belly button. She's like, if you can do that, you're skinny. And I cannot tell you from that moment on how many times throughout the day for years and years I did that. So much so that I ended up with pain in my fingers. And I think there's lots of moments that added up to the struggles that led me to the struggles that I had, but that was definitely a big one. And I think as we had talked about before the show, that I started looking for that. I started looking for all of the girls around me who could put their fingers on their hip bones and touch their belly buttons, right? And I wanted to be one of those girls. And I think that really was what started me restricting my food intake quite a bit and over-exercising for sure. started around that time. And then eventually I got to a point where I was caught, right? Like people knew now what I was doing. And that's that more of the binge restrict cycle started for me, so that I would overeat around people and then restrict my food intake. And then the over exercise for sure, when I would spend hours a day at the gym. And I think also playing into that is having family members around me on diets all the time. My aunt, my mom, like everyone was trying all the popular diets at the time, one after another. And for a lot of the time in college and my young adulthood, like I would do that too. And we can definitely talk more about this, but an eating disorder is something you can't see. And everyone just thought she's just doing it with us.
Yeah.
When deep inside, I was really struggling, even though like for some of that time I was at a healthy weight, you couldn't see it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So the girl who said the measure of if you're thin, you believed her. So
Of
you
course.
heard that and you believed her. Do you know why did you believe that? Like, why did you think, oh, yeah, that's right?
I don't know. I think that's a great question. I think maybe it struck me because I was already immersed in diet culture because of the female role models that I had in my life. And I just want to say they didn't know any better, right? Like they were in it too, right? Like this is what we're being fed through the media, right? TV commercials, books coming out on like the Atkins diet and South Beach and I don't know, Beachbody, I think became big at the time. Like all the women in my life didn't know any of this stuff either at that time. And so I think already being in this system obsessed with thinness, right? Now this girl says, oh, you can measure it. Here's a measurable thing that tells you if you're skinny enough.
Yeah.
That made sense to me at the time.
Absolutely. And so this is high school, right?
That was That was, I think, 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade. It was end of my last year in middle school. And then my struggle definitely went on to worsen in high school.
Okay. And you said that you used the word hidden. Did you consciously know you were trying to hide your behavior of over binge eating and then not eating? Did you consciously know that?
Some of it. So I think I did, but I thought it was normal because I went to an all girls high school and everybody did it. Right. So I guess it wasn't so much trying to hide it, but I was trying to fit in. I thought it was normal. I thought that all of the girls threw out their lunch at school because they did. Right. I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
So say that again for us. Say that's really impactful. Say that again for us.
Yeah. So it wasn't so much that I was trying to hide the behaviors, but I was trying to fit into what the norm was. I just didn't know. Like I thought everybody did it. I thought all of the girls in high school were dieting. I thought they all didn't eat lunch at school.
I think that is really a powerful statement because that speaks to conformity, what you think is the normal. You don't know something different. So at home, you have this diet culture. Again, they're not intentionally trying to do anything. They're just doing the mainstream, whatever's happening. And then you're at school and you're seeing other girls not eat lunch and then talking even earlier on how to measure. So it's like in your ecosystem all the time.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
And so what was a tipping point for you when you were like, okay, maybe this is not the way. Maybe this isn't for me.
So I would say much later. I struggled all through high school. I lost my menstrual cycle. I had awful migraines. I had terrible migraines, right? My mom took me like neurologist. I went to a cardiologist too. I couldn't go up a flight of stairs without getting dizzy. Like I would go from sitting to standing and I'd feel like I was going to pass out because my blood pressure would drop. And it all comes back to the fact that I would go hours a day without eating. No wonder I had a headache, right? No wonder I was dizzy. So and that lasted like years. And then again, I would say in college, it really switched to the over exercise piece. So I would eat. I would say I was eating in college, but I was trying to burn it off. So it was exercise bulimia is the DSM diagnosis.
Can you define that for us, please? The DSM.
Yeah. So we think of DSM, the Diet Statistic Manual. So what clinicians use for diagnosing bulimia, we often think that's like women vomiting their food up. but there can also the purging piece that is exercise related. So we're trying to get rid of the calories from the food that we eat by burning it off through exercise.
So is that categorized as bulimia?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. 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 Great question. Okay. What was the question? You asked me the tipping point. So I eventually reached the point where I wanted to start a family. I wanted to get pregnant and I couldn't. And I had previously been told in high school when I lost my menstrual cycle for being underweight that I might have a hard time getting pregnant. At the time, I did not care. I just wanted to be thin. I was not thinking about being pregnant. And actually at that time, I remember being like, there's no way I would do that to my body, right? There's no way I would ever want to be pregnant. That would mean I would get fat. I was terrified of that. Absolutely terrified. I went through years of my life saying I never want to have kids. Obviously, years and years had passed. I think I was around 28 by the time I wanted to actually try to get pregnant. And like I said, I couldn't. We tried it for a year on our own. I went to an infertility specialist. There was no reason that they could find why I couldn't get pregnant, other than the fact that my body couldn't handle it because I was still very much in those disordered eating and exercise behaviors. Again, you would look at me and you would say, and people did, "Oh, she's skinny, she's strong, she's healthy." I got comments all the time. I would love to look like you. You have the perfect body. Like, Jesse's so healthy. Like, how do you do it all the time?
How would those comments make you feel?
Pressure to keep doing it. And that's why I'm a firm believer now that we do not comment on other people's bodies, because I think people, again, they were trying to give me a compliment, but all it did was fuel that anxiety in me that I have to keep going, right? What I'm doing now is good. Don't lose it, because you'll be criticized if you look different. And so I went through a couple of failed IUIs. I've had more miscarriages than I do have children at this point. And I finally was able to have my son when I slowed down and really took a look at how I was treating my body.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's really a personal story and that I'm sure resonates with a lot of people. And it's so funny that you said about like the whole bulimia. And I always thought, again, my listeners know this, but just to say it, to be totally transparent, I'm not a clinician. I'm not a trained wellness expert. But I always thought bulimia was the binging and throwing up. Yeah. I did not know the other aspect that you just shared with us. So thank you for that. So you're trying to have children, you're having difficulty. So then you start, and me, what I heard you say, it kind of resonated that you slowly started to make changes, or did you immediately say, okay, I've got to address this?
So I would say it was a little both. So like one thing that I did immediately was I deleted the calorie counting apps that I had on my phone. I was logging my macros into 3 different apps a day, right? I was using MyFitnessPal, my Fitbit, and another one. And that I was like, this got to go. So I deleted all of them all at the same time and stopped that. Some of the other things, like I was also trying to eat very low carb, right? So I started slowly starting to be okay with adding rice to my lunch. That was huge for me, right? Like even to have a half a cup of rice gave me so much anxiety. So that was challenging myself to do it a little bit slower, those kind of things. And then shifting the way that I worked out. I took some breaks from running. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it at all. It wasn't just, I have to go out for a run so I can hit 10K steps a day. I stopped tracking my step count. And again, I still went to the gym. I still worked out, but I stopped tracking it so much. And that really helped me stop like obsessing about it and start really like tuning into my body and listening. Okay, like you hadn't moved today. Like we got to go. We got to do something. You did enough.
Oh, interesting. What were the signs that your body knew you did enough?
Yeah. So I think, and that's a part of the work that I do with clients, right? So we talk a lot about intuitive movement. We're humans. Like we want to move, right? But we have to do it in a way that we actually want to do it. So we can tell, like when we are back into the other side of it, when we haven't moved enough, our back hurts, we get really stiff. Maybe we're getting a little bit of antsy. We just know, like I've been sitting all day, like my butt hurts a little bit. And then on the other side, we can almost start to tell the difference between like mental fatigue and physical fatigue. So how we feel that in our body, like I feel heavy, like it'd be really just hard for me to force myself to do this workout right now. Like there's that feeling that you can really tune into. And again, are you sore? Does it just hurt versus pain? And I think those are all signs that tell you like maybe today's a rest day.
Yeah. So can you speak to the sort of the intuitiveness of paying attention to your body and knowing when maybe today's a rest day? And I'm going to give you an example what I mean, because we hear out there, and I'm going to be totally honest, and I buy into it. Some days I don't feel like lifting my weights, or some days I don't feel like going for my run, but I do it anyways. Do it anyways. You're not going to feel like it. What the phrases that are in our ecosystem. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not going to say that's wrong. Motivation is just an emotion. Angry, sad, like we don't happy, like we don't always feel motivated, right? It has its ebbs and flows just like anything else. So intuitive movement, I would say I help my clients really ask themselves 3 questions to help figure that out. How does your body feel today? You're doing a very quick body scan. This does not have to take a long time, right? You're looking for that feeling of heaviness, right? Again, really, am I physically tired right now, or am I mentally exhausted? Did I just stare at a computer all day and my brain is very tired, but my body feels okay? You're assessing for aches and pains that you have, right? Oh, my shoulder is really sore. Am I even doing this? I say this. My shoulders up by my ears all day. Did I do a workout yesterday? And oh my God, my quads are killing me today. How does your body feel? And then you want to ask yourself, what is your intention for this workout that you're trying to get in? So is it just to simply move? Again, I've been sitting all day. I just got to get some movement in. Is it to have fun? Right? Maybe it's just to, I don't know, amp yourself up a little bit after just a really tough day. Is it to accomplish a goal? Is it that you're working on your first push up from your toes and you really want to get that workout in that's going to help you get there? So number 2, what is your intention for this workout? And then number 3, what is going to bring you joy? So so a lot of times, like, I'll be like, I just want to get outside today. Like maybe I had a lifting workout planned, but it is gorgeous out there. I'd rather do some intervals outside, rather go for a walk, right? Being outside would bring me joy. Maybe working out with a friend would bring you joy that day. Maybe a Zumba video is going to make you happy that day. So we're asking ourselves all 3 of these questions, and that's going to help you decide if and what you do for your workout.
Oh, that really is good. Because we also talk about in this space, you got to do the push-ups and the pull-ups and the jumping rope or whatever it is. In your coaching with clients, is there a regimen of what types of exercise or is it more to just move your body?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So I am a personal trainer. So when someone works with me, yes, I write their workout for them. However, I'm also teaching them the entire time we're working together how to tune into their own body, so that eventually they can fire me. I do not want you to have to pay me for forever, right? Personal training is an investment and don't want to have to do it for forever. So the first session, I am asking now, how are you feeling today? How is your body feeling today? So it gets them used to doing that super quick body scan. And then I'm really digging into what they enjoy doing for movement. So in combining that with their goals. So I have some women who feel super badass after lifting heavy weights. Great. I'm going to program in more of that for you. I have some women who love boxing. So if that's you, like I'm going to program in shadow boxing to your workouts. We're going to do that. I have some who really like the spin bike. They have one at home. Great. We're going to program that into your workouts. I'm going to ask you, hey, we have 5 minutes left. Would you rather do a cardio finisher or do you need the stretching today? So yes, I have written a program for you, but it's very customized. It's very individualized and it's based on how you like to move your body.
So when did you decide to combine the therapy, being a therapist, with the personal trainer?
Yeah, so again, this goes way back. I'll try to keep it short. I had a very miserable grad school experience. I absolutely hated my master's degree program, and my master's is actually in family therapy, which I do not do. All power to family therapists. You guys are amazing. I couldn't do it. But at that same time, even though it was still in a very unhealthy way, I fell in love with fitness. I fell in love with lifting weights. And that is what I wanted to be doing. I had a roommate who was studying to be a personal trainer in strength and conditioning. And I was like, I want to do that. but I was already in it. It was too late to switch. I felt I had to keep on the therapy track. So once I graduated, I promised myself I'd go out and I'd be a certified person. I'd get certified to be a personal trainer. And I did it. So I was working my job as a therapist full time. And then I would go and I'd train at my local gym, a few clients, a couple nights a week. And then eventually I did make the switch to being a full-time trainer. I completely left the clinical role behind. And then I would say working at the gym was fine. I was helping people with weight loss, right? Didn't really think anything of it at the time, to be honest. Again, still very much having my own issues, but just helping other people do those same things, which is crazy to me now. And then I had my son, right? Started healing. I started the healing journey, had my son. I got a job for noon. The personal training hours just didn't work anymore, being a mom. That was really the only reason why I left the gym. Then I got this job for noon and I was like, wow, this isn't okay. However, I would say for Neil's like psychology of weight loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that they phrase it, that is what made me say, wait a minute. I can combine my psychology, my education and background in psychology with my passion for personal training and fitness. I just need to do it in a way that's more aligned.
Yes.
And that's where I landed in the disordered eating and body image space while still offering the personal training. And in the person that I work with, it's the same person. It's just, am I helping them in a therapy capacity or am I helping them in a fitness capacity? Right? Physical health versus mental health. I do think that it was almost new, right? That helped me see these two things are so connected. We got to have both, right? We got to be working on both. And that was when I launched my own business and just had to figure out how to do this my way in a way that, again, left the weight loss industry just aside and really focused on healing.
Yes. I love it. So tell us how people can work with you, what you offer to combine these two, physical and mental health, together.
Yeah. So unfortunately, due to kind of therapy ethics and health insurance stuff, that the two parts of my business are separate. So I offer therapy and I offer personal training. I'm completely virtual with both. I take most major insurances for therapy in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, for therapy, I can only work with you if you are in Massachusetts. And that's when I really specialize in disordered eating and body image. So binge eating, emotional eating, compulsive eating, orthorexia. So that's an obsession with clean eating.
I did not know that. What is that called?
Orthorexia is an obsession with eating clean. You're avoiding all like processed foods, for example, and focusing on whole foods.
Yes. Okay.
Would be it. And then body dysmorphia as well. But I think what I want to add there is that you don't have to have a DSM diagnosis to work with me, right? You don't
Remind
have
us
to
what
check.
DSM is.
Yep. So essentially I have to give someone a DSM diagnosis. So the Diagnostic Statistic Manual has all the mental health diagnoses in there. I have to diagnose you with something to bill your insurance, but it doesn't mean that you have to check all the boxes to work with me. I have women who come to me who are, again, they're at a very healthy weight. They're in a body society might deem normal, but inside they're struggling with so much food noise. So they're constantly thinking about what they're going to eat. Is this going to make me gain weight? Should I eat this? Should I eat that? Just so much noise that's just impacting the way they show up in the day. Or I work with a lot of women who get a lot of like nighttime eating, right? So they're compulsively eating at night and they feel very out of control. But again, you don't fit a binge eating diagnosis for that. And then any body image struggle. I can work with women who are weighing themselves, constantly checking themselves in the mirror, and not feeling comfortable in your clothes, all that kind of stuff. And then also on the fitness piece, right? So you want to start an exercise program and you just can't get yourself motivated, right? A therapist can help you with that and really dig deep into what is going on for you that you're feeling that way. So that's the therapy side. And then on the personal training side, it is you hire me as your personal trainer. I write you a program that is, again, very customized, designed for your goals and what you want to accomplish. And while I don't do weight loss there either, I'm okay if you have that as a goal. We're not focusing on it. We're focusing on improving endurance. We're focusing on building muscle, improving mobility, things like that. And I write you a workout and we do it together virtually. I take you through it. I'm looking at your form, correcting technique. And like I said, hopefully teaching you how to program for yourself on your own so that you eventually don't need me anymore.
So where can people start?
Yeah, I think first I want you to identify which one of those you're going to need, like which one, where you need the support more. And then you can go to my website, revolutionhc.com. I do have both my services listed on there, though the website is geared more towards the personal training. And then for therapy, you can find me on Psychology Today. Just run a search and you can book a consult with me right through there or through my website. Either one is totally fine. I do try to post pretty consistently on Instagram at Just Be Jamison. And there you'll find really any content related to health at every size, inclusivity, non-diet approaches. Again, on both the mental health and the physical health side of things.
And you also have a free journal. Is that true?
I do. Yeah. The intuitive movement. I have two free resources. So I have the intuitive movement challenge, and we talked a lot about what intuitive movement is. So it actually has those 3 questions that we talked about in there. And then it just helps you or reminds you to ask yourself those 3 questions and take notes for yourself for about a week. Some kind of like unique and different ways to move your body is listed out. So you can really find like what you love and what's going to work for you. And then my food and feelings journal is another free resource that I have. And that is really helping you dig into why you are choosing to eat what, how, and when you eat, based on this idea that our thoughts, our emotions, and our behaviors are all connected. So in order to alter or dig in deeply to an eating behavior, we have to be looking at how we think and how we feel about the food. So that journal will help you do that.
Yes, that sounds great. So we'll put all this information in the show notes so people can reach out to you. What is one action item you would give people that they can do right away after listening to this that you think would benefit them on this journey?
I only pick one.
I used to say 3, but I said, no, we just need one.
Oh man. Okay. So I just want you to dip your toe in some of these concepts. You don't have to fully commit yet. And that's what I tell people. If intuitive movement, if intuitive eating, if a non-diet approach, health at every size aligned approach, it doesn't work for you, you can go back, right? You can always go back. So I guess whether you're looking at my blog post, my resources, or someone else's, that is totally fine. Maybe just start researching some of these concepts. What is intuitive eating? What is intuitive movement? What is health at every size? What is body neutrality? And just see if they resonate with you a little bit. Again, on my website, revolutionhc.com, I have blog posts on almost all of that stuff. And I guess just start learning about it because there really is another way.
I love that quote. There really is another way. I love that. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for being with me. This has been so great. And I cannot wait to share this episode. And I just want to say to everybody listening, I do a really strong vetting of people that I bring on, and just spending this time with Jess has completed that whole Jess picture for me. And if this speaks to you, I know it really spoke to me. A lot of the things that you said, I was like, yes. And I never even realized that I had done those things when I was younger. Some of the examples you gave, like not wanting to ever get pregnant because you're like, I'm going to be fat forever. That was definitely me. I thought that for sure.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know, reach out. She is open. You can DM her on Instagram, get her free journals, check her out. She is there to help us and guide us and really make an impact for us. So thank you so much for doing this work.
Oh, thank you so much, Christina. That means a lot.
Thank you. That's it for this episode. Thank you again so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please share it with a friend and leave a 5-star review. It means way more than you know. Until next time, continue to wonder boldly.